Class 2 of our market steers, you guys need to come and get your pictures taken. So everybody in Class 2, come get your pictures taken and we'll get ready for you very shortly.
Okay, really nice class of steers to start the day here at the Umatilla County Fair. We find a pair of calves to go up to the top of the class who I think kind of get the big things done right. These are steers that have some muscle. These are steers that have some structural soundness. They got a little bit of style and balance to go with it. What sorts this pair to me is market readiness. I really like how well done the steer that leads this class off is. He's really nice and mellow over his ribs and his top, really full in his flank as you get your hands on this calf. I think he's also one of the 2 heavier muscle calves that we have in this class. In a perfect world, would you like to give him a little bit more angle and flex up front? Sure, but all in all, we really like the nice package of stuff this steer puts together to start the day. A young man that comes out in second, another calf who you really kind of have to like the look and the structural soundness of him. A steer that has some muscle, and although he's getting pretty close to his optimally point, this steer probably with another 50-75 pounds would be a little bit more ideal. But 2 really nice calves to start the day. Then we come to kind of a really nice, practical, functional type of steer. This is a calf who, albeit not the flashiest, you really like the muscle he has. You really like the way this calf is covered. You just like to maybe make him a little bit flashier to get him up in that top pair. But a really nice calf. You did a really nice job feeding this calf, and that's what you have control over. So I really commend you for what you got done there. Then comes the problem steer of the gray calf this young man has. There's some stuff you really like here. This is arguably the heaviest muzzled steer that we have in the class. Where would like to change him is really when he comes to the ground. This is a calf that just is awfully straight, both up front and behind. He's really uncomfortable when he gets out and travels. But a calf that's got some fat, some muscle to it. We just like to change structurally. Then comes 2 calves who would kind of like to put them together and would have something really nice. We got the Bronco face calf here. This is one who you like from a soundness, a body capacity standpoint. A steer that is adequate in terms of his muscle. Where it would change him is in terms of the amount of condition he has. This young lady said she had some bloating problems with this steer. She fed him throughout the summer. Then comes the red calf, and you really have to like this guy for how long-sided he is. He's very sound when he gets out and travels. And this young man did a very nice job feeding him. Our challenge we run into today is this is pretty easily the lightest muscle calf that we have in this class. But again, you really like the job this young man did feeding this steer. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, our market steer class number 1. First is Faith Grinwald. Second is Sam Valley, and then Wyatt Harris was 3rd. 4th was Allison Terry. 5th, Morgan Harris, and 6th, Mario Pacheco. So that is class number 1. We'll bring in class number 2, Mackenzie Burke, 1,210 pound steer there. Tegan Kennedy, 1,211 pounds. Alejandro Ibarra, 1,212 pound steer there. Coulter Meads bringing in a 1,231 pound steer. Craig Campbell, 1,232 pounds. Oh, Colton Weisler is in there with 1,231 pounds, and then Craig Campbell, 1,232 pound steer. Haley Tomlinson, 1,235 pounds, and then Sydney Dodge, 1,238 pounds. Class number 2. judge today in our beef classes is Ty Cleaver. He was raised on a hay grain commercial cattle and sheep outfit in Klamath Falls. Along with his wife Brooke and his children Kate and Anna, they raise Angus, Gelbvieh, and club calves. The operation has bred and exhibited numerous champions at the state and national level, and he also co-owns Skyline Brewing Company in Klamath Falls. So Ty Cleaver is our judge today in our beef classes.
really nice second class that we have here. There's two calves who I think work their way up to the top. I think they're very, very similar in a lot of ways. These are both steers who I like a lot from just a standpoint of putting together fat, muscle, and structural soundness. I think they're very, very close on both fronts. Kind of the difference between the pair at that point, I would call them a push on muscle and fat. The steer the young man brings us just is a little bit flashier, a little bit more up-headed, a little bit straighter in terms of his lines. Just balances up a little bit nicer. The steer who you really appreciate the mellowness and the uniformity of his fat cover. This is one that should exceedingly likely present a very high-quality eating experience to whoever ends up with him out of your sale. Just a really nice project. This young man did a very, very nice job feeding, getting put together, and bringing to us today. The steer the young lady brings us, another one that you really like just from his composition standpoint. The steer with some muscle. The steer is also really, really nice in terms of his finish. Just a little bit plainer in terms of his type and kind, but going to be an awfully nice piece of meat here in a couple of days. Then comes the controversial calf of the class that my daughter was like, why did you put that steer in third? And I would agree, type and kind-wise, this is the best steer in this class. But unfortunately, we are at a tournament show, and this guy's probably 100 pounds of fat away from where I'd really like him to be. Just a beautiful steer, very, very nicely designed, very up-headed, very muscular, and really gets out and travels nicely. Just unfortunately needs about another 100 pounds on him to really get to where he needs to be. Then we come to a pair of really practical, functional type of calves these young men bring us. The black one, just you really like the softness, the depth of body, the amount of fat this steer has on him. The steer that's certainly adequate in terms of his amount of muscle. You just like to make him a little bit stouter to get him up into those top three. But you did a really, really good job feeding this steer, as did the young man with the red steer. This steer is really super nice and mellow over his rib and down his top. The steer who I would again say is adequate in muscle. The tiebreaker between this pair, if we can make your steer a little square, a little bit leveler out that hip, then we could have got you up another place or two. Then we come to a really nice muscular red calf that the young lady brings us. The steer that I think is close in terms of his amount of fat cover that he has. One that relative to his amount of muscle, we'd probably like to make be just a little bit mellower, a little bit softer in terms of his body type. Then we come to two steers who unfortunately on feed didn't quite get done with the young people needed them to get done. I really, really like the types of projects that both of you selected. These are both really, really nice, sound structured, really attractively made calves. Just both of them need a fair amount more finish to get you guys up higher in the class today. But a very, very nice second class market steers. Thank you.
I just work here and I do what I get told to do.
All right. That class, Colter Mead's going to win that class. Second was Haley Tomlinson. Third was Sydney Dodge. Fourth was Craig Campbell. Fifth was Alejandro Ibarra. Sixth was Tegan Kennedy. Seventh was Colton Weisler. And eighth was Mackenzie Burke. So congratulations to our second class. Marcus Steers will bring in class number 3. So market class number 3. It is Nicholas Robbins, 1,243-pound steer. Dave Burke, 1,260 pounds. Pace Raymond, 1,260 pounds. Marilyn Pacheco, 1,268 pounds. Beth Smith will follow her in with 1,269 pound steer. Ryland Dodge, 1,272 pounds. Delaney Weisler with 1,274 pound steer, and then Caleb Glenn with a 1,279 pound steer. Here's class number 3.
Three reds.
Okay, we're trying to make the ball. We're trying to get the volume up as loud as we can here, so we're going to try and get a little further away so we don't have the squeaky things that kill everybody's ears happen. Really nice pair of steers to start this class. I really like this black calf the young man brings us quite a bit. You talk about just doing everything you want a market steer to do really well. This is a calf. You like his width of chest. You like his boldness atop. You like how wide and square he comes out of his head, how wide he carries that down to the ground. And a calf who is really nicely fed, really nicely finished. And you don't really appreciate the muscularity of this steer until you get your hands on him. He's just one that I think at the next level, at the carcass level, is going to do really good things. And he just gets around and travels really nicely, and a steer that balances out really well. Then we come to the gray calf, one who really catches your eye when you a gray calf that really catches your eye when he comes into the ring. This is a steer who you really appreciate the way this steer's been fed. This is a steer that has a really super nice look to him. A steer who in the pair with the black calf, you just like him to be a little bit bolder as he comes out of his shoulder blades, be a little bit more prominent in his rib and in his loin. And then we can sure go ahead and get you up in first place. Then we come to a really well-fed Hereford steer the young lady brings us. This is another one who I think has a very good chance of great choice or better. A steer this young lady did a really nice job feeding. A steer that's really practical in terms of his look and his type and kind. His deficiency compared to the two above him, you just like to stouten this steer up quite a bit to beat those two tanks that were up ahead of you. Then we come to a calf who I really like the type and kind of, and this kind of blue roanish, white-bellied steer. This is a steer who you really like his look, his structural soundness. He just gets out, cruises really nicely and easily. This is a steer who, if he had another 50 or 75 pounds on him, this is a steer that could probably contend to win this class pretty easy. I think he has a pretty good chance to grade. I'd just like him to be a little bit fatter to really be comfortable with that. Then we come to a really well-fed steer the young man brings us. This is a calf that handles really nice and mellow and uniform in terms of his fat cover. One that you just like to stouten up quite a bit when you get behind him and in front of him to move him up higher in this class. Then we come to a really practical steer, and all these calves over here have a lot of similarities to them. The steer the young man brings us, one that again you just like its nice, functional, deep-sided, soggy look. One that you just wish would have accumulated a little bit more fat cover. And in a perfect world, you'd like to make him a little bit more muscular to go with it. Then another really nice practical black calf. Again, you just like to make it be a little bit fatter, a little bit heavier muscle. As with the really nice long-sided steer that the young lady brings us next. You just like to stack up, and we talked about, how kind of feeding this calf went, and we just like him to be a little bit further along in terms of his fat development at this point. But really nice class of steers. Thank you.
Well, our market class there, winner is going to be Pace Raymond. Second place, Ryland Dodge. Number 3 spot, Beth Smith. 4th was Delaney Weisler. 5th was Caleb Glenn. 6th was Nicholas Robbins. 7th, Tate Burke. And 8th, Marilyn Pacheco. We'll go now to class number 4. Mason Burke brings in a 1,314-pound steer. Cameron Estes, 1,316 pounds. Jaden Walker with a 1,318-pound steer. Sydney Estes with a 1,319-pounder. Paige Grunwald, 1,320 on that one. Tyson Terusio, 1,324. And then Tristan Walker, 1,326. Oh, Jace Wallace, I apologize, is in there with a 1,324-pound steer.
2 reps.
Another really nice class of steers with a lot of depth and quality, in my opinion. We have a top pair of, I think, Angus calves of different colors that really kind of put together the type and the kind that you like to see. These are both steers that, you know, just have a real nice practical look to them. They're both really sound in how they get out and go. They're both calves that have lots of body, lots of capacity, and plenty of muscle. To me, the difference between in the pair, I think the young man's black calf just has a lot more width as he comes and goes away from us. But just a really, really nice, practical, functional pair of calves up to start this class. The red calf is one who, you know, kind of actually catches you off guard a little bit. He's one, when he first came in the ring, my initial impression was this is a steer that may be flirting with being a little bit too fat, but you get your hands on him, he really, really pleasantly surprises you. He's really, really nice and uniform and mellow in his cover without being excessive. A calf who, on type and kind, I really, really like a lot is this young lady's black steer that comes to us in third. This is just kind of the calf that has some flash and some eye appeal and reaches out and grabs you. A steer with some muscle, a steer that's really, really nice in terms of his soundness and the way that he travels. A steer who, again, would just like to see with about 50 more pounds on him, and then would probably be thinking about you winning this class. Then the one I really, really commend the young lady on is this red and white calf. You know, I've got to deal with a lot of different body types of cattle in my life, and the ones that kind of are pretty tight in their side like that are usually really, really hard feeders. You did an exceptional job with this guy, and although we would like him to be a touch fatter today, you did a really, really good job with kind of a tough body type to feed. This is a steer that from a muscular standpoint, you really, really like a great deal. He's really, really powerful and bold in that top. If we could change him to get you up a little higher, we'd just like to deepen him up a little bit, put a little bit more fat on him. But I really, really like the kind of calf you found. He's really, really flashy. He really reaches out and grabs your eye and then captures it with the amount of muscle he brings to us. Then we come to, I learned a little lesson here about bringing your kids with you when you come to do things like this. So this young lady steer, Joe Dirt, that she brings to us, which is a pretty popular movie among young people, I guess. I got a little bit flack from my peanut gallery in here that said he should be grand champion just because of his name. So I'm not really going to argue with him there. But this is a steer who, you know, has some fat, has some muscle. You just like him to be a little bit stouter, a little bit more powerful in terms of his overall type and kind. Then we can move him up even higher. Then we come to a really nicely patterned blue roan steer that the young man brings us. This is a calf that you really like the attractiveness and the eye appeal of. He's one who gets out and travels really nicely. Just a really striking steer. Again, you kind of got a little bit out muscled by the calves up above you, but you did a really nice job feeding this steer, and you found an awfully, awfully attractive one there. I really commend you for doing that. Then we come to two calves who I would say kind of have some composition issues in terms of their muscle to fat ratio. The kind of more reddish tinge steer the young man has, I really commend you for the job you did feeding this steer. This calf has got more than plenty of fat on him. He's going to go to the next level with a very, very high quality carcass. Where he kind of worries me a little bit, would like to have quite a bit more muscle to go along with that fat. He's just pretty narrow when you look at him from front and behind. But again, I commend you on the great job you did feeding this steer. Then we come to a calf who has some finish on him. is surely a really attractive steer. When you get off the side of him, this is a calf that you just really like to widen and stouten up from both ends as he comes and goes away from you. But very nice class of steers. Good job.
So in that class, first place, Jace Wallace. Second was Mason Murdoch. Third was Paige Grunwald. Fourth was Sydney Estes. Fifth was Cameron Estes. Sixth was Jaden Walker. And seventh, Tristan Walker. Eighth was Tyson Terusio. So here is class number 5, Maggie Mendernick, Annika Perez, Braden Cordeberia, Tanner Meads, and I'll tell you the weights on those steers: 1,336 pounds, 1,338, 1,348. Tanner's is 1,357. Sydney Brocker in with 1,358. Catherine Doherty, 1,364 pound steer. Grant Hills, 1,375. This is class 5 of our market steers. Once again, our judge today, Ty Cleaver from Klamath Falls. So we're doing our Grand Champion drives a little bit different this year. All of that will be at 6 o'clock tonight. So the top 2 in each class will be ready to come back for our Grand Champion drive this evening. We'll start off with the pigs at 6, then go to the lambs, then goats, and then steer last. So we will determine our Grand Champion animals in each species this evening at 6 o'clock. Top 2 in each class be ready to come back.
Please give these young exhibitors a nice round of applause for really across the stairs. There are 3 calves in this class that, to be honest, I like a great deal. You talk about what you want a market steer to be, and just, I think of things like, wide-chested, heavy-muscled, wide-based, square-made, sound structure, what have you. I think the calf that wins this class really does all those things very, very nicely. This is a steer who you just really love the width, the power to him. He's one that really catches your eye with that. You really like, the brisket, the fat cover, the mellowness this guy has. He gets around and travels, albeit he's not perfectly level at his hip. He gets out and travels really, really nicely. Just a calf that wraps a lot of awfully good things together into one complete package. If the black steer in second would have been a little bit stouter and a little bit wider based, you probably would have been in trouble, though. This calf from the side, I absolutely love. He really gets out and travels nicely and smoothly. He patterns with the very, very best of them anywhere. A steer that the young man did a great job feeding. One that just, you'd like to have a little bit more power, a little bit more base with it, and then we could have gone ahead and got you one more place higher, but a very, very nice pair of steers to start this class. Not to take away from the gray calf in third, this is one that, again, you really appreciate from a standpoint of muscle mass. He's also very, very well fed and super mellow, super even in terms of the way he handles. A calf that you really like the power of, but when you have 3 of them that get the bases covered really well, then balance becomes a little bit more of a factor. And this is a little bit pointer made type of steer, but you had a really nice, really functional, really practical calf. You did a heck of a job feeding him. You got to be awfully proud of your project and what you got done this year. Then we come to a calf who I would say is probably a little bit away from where he really could have got. This is a steer that reminds me a lot of the steer in second, really. One you really like the profile and the pattern of. You really like his structural soundness, how loose made he gets out and travels, how well the steer balances up. This is one that, doesn't quite have enough muscle to run with the top 3. Like I talked with the young man, would probably like the steer to be maybe another 50 pounds heavier, but I think he's very, very adequate from a fat standpoint, and just like to be a little bit more to really be comfortable with him. Then we come to a really practical black calf the young lady brings us. One that, again, you really like from his practicalness. He's really deep-bodied. He's really sound. Just a really nice, functional, practical type steer. You did a really nice job feeding this calf. You just need more width and more muscle to get you up into the front end of the class. A very similar story with the young man steer. Another really well-fed calf. And one who, again, you appreciate the practical nature of this steer. Just a little bit of a deficiency in terms of muscle to get this calf up higher in the class. Then we come to another really nicely well-fed Hereford appearing steer the young lady brings us. You really like the mellowness this calf handles over his top and down his rib. This is a steer from that you just, again, like to add some more width to. A calf that maybe likes to get a little bit straighter up in terms of his front end when he gets out and goes. But this young lady did a heck of a job feeding this steer. Very, very nice class. Thank you.
All right, in that class, first place was Sydney Brocker. Second was Tanner Meads. Third was Annika Perez. Fourth was Grant Hills. Fifth was Maggie Meendrink. Sixth was Braden Cordabera. And seventh was Catherine Doherty. Bring in class number 6 of our market steers. Coulter Raymond, As a steer that weighs in at 1,385 pounds, Peyton Bennett, 1,387. Tug Hamby's got a steer that's 1,390 pounds. Mackenzie Marks, 1,395 pounds. Royce Francis, 1,397. Ella Murray, 1,399. Class number 6.
Another really nice class with, if we're going to be honest, we're going to say a lot of different types and kinds of cattle in it. A lot of cattle that have dissimilar strengths and weaknesses. And, you know, there wasn't one that kind of really wrapped everything up into a bulletproof package for me, but there were a lot of good steers that do a lot of good things right in here. The calf that the young lady brings us that starts the class, this guy is just overwhelming from a mass standpoint. You really, really like the width of hip in him. You really like the width of base he goes to the ground with. A calf who just is really, really super nice from a muscular standpoint. A steer who you like in terms of the way that he's finished. And a steer who I think from a soundness and attractiveness standpoint, you certainly can't fault him on that front either. Just a really nice complete project that the young lady brings us. In a perfect world, if you could give him a little bit softer look, we would like him just that much more, but you did really good. You found a really nice, attractive, muscular steer. You got him fed and presented really well. Congratulations on winning your class today. Then we come to a steer that was kind of really mentally problematic for me. This is a calf who his worst view probably is walking away from you. You got to think, hey, this is a steer that's a little bit narrow in terms of the way that he's made. But then you get in there and handle him, and this guy's got a really, really big top. That's where all the really high dollar cuts are, so I really value that greatly. Steer's got a really nice, powerful rib and loin in him. A steer who you really like in terms of the way that he's been finished, and a steer who you really like the way he gets out and travels. Just a really nice, complete type of calf. If you just pull him apart a little bit more, would like him that much more, but a very, very nice second place steer that we have here. Then we come to a really close decision between him and the young lady with the red steer. I really, really like the type, the practicality, and the balance this red steer brings us today. He's just a really functional type calf, one that's really sound. You really like him from a capacity standpoint. And again, this young lady did a really nice job finishing this steer. He's one that, again, if you could just stouten him up a little bit more, then we could get you up another place or two. Then we come to a calf who kind of leaves me pondering a little bit about, you know, where we are on a fat muscle ratio here. This is a steer that you love the way he's fed. I think he has a very, very good chance to grade very, very well. This is a steer that you kind of ask yourself the question, is there enough muscle here to go with the amount of fat that this calf has? But again, you know, picking good practical cattle is a big part of the deal. You definitely found a really good practical one. You got him fed really, really nicely, and you got to be very proud with the job that you did there. Then we come to a really attractive black baldy steer the young man brings us. This is a calf who, again, you really like the attractiveness, the eye appeal, the way he gets around and travels. Another calf that's really, really well fed. And I think it's going to grade really, really nicely. He's another one that you would just like to be a fair amount stouter to go with the amount of cover that this young man put on him, but a really nice, super attractive calf that you did a very, very good job feeding. Then we come to the young lady's calf, and this is one that from a stoutness standpoint you really have to like. He's really, really big-ended. He's really wide-chested. A steer who is a little bit longer-sided than a couple of the others that we have up in front of him. This calf, albeit he's pretty big, he's one who I do, again, think could probably be about another 50 or 100 pounds heavier to really get to the optimum endpoint and really be confident he's going to grade well. I think he does have enough on him. We're going to give him a blue today, though. Very challenging class for me to look at, and definitely a lot of things to think about. If you disagree with the way that I did it, I certainly wouldn't argue with you there. A lot of different good types of cattle in here. Thank you.
First place in that class was Peyton Bennett. Second was Royce Francis. Third was Ella Murray. And fourth was Coulter Raymond. Fifth was Tug Hamby. And sixth was Mackenzie Marks. We'll bring in class number 7. Macy Thomas has a steer that weighs 1,407 pounds. Cole Bennett with a 1,418-pound steer. Austin Walker at 1422. Blair Brocker at 1431. Mac Murdoch has a steer that weighs 1,445 pounds. Kylie Temple, 1,473. And then Evelina Llewellyn, 1,477 pounds. Class number 7.
a really nice class with a really nice top end here, and this Charlet Influence appearing steer. This is a calf who I just really like a lot about him. You talk about a calf that's really functional, really practical in terms of his type and kind. A calf that comes and goes at you with width and does it really, really soundly and fluidly, especially for, you know, how big he is. This is a steer I think just does a lot of good things. You get your hands on him, you're really, really happy with the fat cover on this steer. Yet at the same time, he's got plenty of muscle mass to go along with it. This is a steer who I just think does a lot of nice things. His type and kind is followed very closely by our second place steer that the young lady brings us. This is another calf that you just like the width, the shape, the dimension of, and a steer who's just really practical in terms of his type and his kind. Your difference between you and the steer up ahead of you, he's probably just a little bit more muscular, just a little bit more flashy in terms of how you look at him. But you got a really nice calf here that you did a very, very good job feeding. And she gave by far the most elaborate answer of the day on how she fed this steer. I really appreciate that. That shows she's very, very passionate about this project. So I really appreciate about this young lady and the steer that she brought us today. Then we come to another calf who kind of deceives you a little bit, because when he first walks in the ring, he hits you as maybe being kind of a little bit shallower body type of calf. But he's a steer who, when you get your hands on him and really get to analyzing him, this is a steer who does have some base width, has some muscle shape. You really like the way the young lady fed this steer. You just like to maybe deepen him up and soften him up a little bit, and would like him all that much more. Then we come to another really practical type calf the young lady brings us, the calf with a little fleck of white on his belly. This is a steer who is probably on the upper threshold of his endpoint as far as the amount of fat he's got on him, but a steer that does have some muscle, and again, you appreciate his practicality, his body, that he was able to accumulate and finish like that. Just a really nice, complete kind of steer who, in a perfect world, would like to make a little bit heavier muscled. As far as being heavy muscled, if you like that, the next guy is something that you would really like a lot. This is a calf that's really bold and really powerful down his top, a calf who has lots of width as he goes away from you. In an ideal world, we'd like to make this calf a little bit fatter and a little bit deeper bodied. Maybe like to fix him as he gets out and travels on his front end. He's a little bit straight up there, but a ton of muscle, and I think there's enough fat on him that everything's going to go well at the next level. Then we come to a really attractive steer that the young man brings us. This is a really, really nicely designed steer off of the side, a steer that you really like the way he travels, a steer that's very, very nicely finished. But a steer that just kind of is a little bit challenged for muscle to get up higher in this class. But you picked a really, really attractive calf. You fed him awfully, awfully well. Then we come to the short horn appearing steer. This is a calf who, you like from a muscle standpoint. Where I'd like to maybe change him is, even though he is this size, I would like him to be a little bit fatter, a little bit more mellow over the last rib, have a little bit more depth of body to him. But a calf who has been fed pretty well, and a steer that has some muscle to him. Very nice, very deep class. Thank you.
All right, in that class, first place was Mac Murdoch. Second was Macy Thomas. Third, Kylie Temple. Fourth was Austin Walker. Fifth was Cole Bennett. Sixth was Blair Brocker, and seventh was Evelina Luella. So that is class 7. We are going to have a showmanship clinic briefly right after this next class. So we'll take just a short break and then do a showmanship clinic. It'll be brief. And then tonight, of course, our first and second place in each class will come back for our showmanship runoff, or our market steer runoff, and we'll determine our grand champions. So here's our final class, the market steers. Deegan Patton in there with the 1,493-pound steer. Grace Grunwald, 1,503-pound steer. Elizabeth Doherty, 1,572 pounds. And then Brielle Yance, 1,582-pound steer. We do have a feeder class right after this as well.
Really nice class to wrap up our market show. And here we have a yellow calf who, yes, he is plenty good size, but, you kind of look at where the industry is and where it's going. And, like I remember the era I showed in, 20, 25 years ago, you wanted to weigh 1,250 pounds if you wanted to win then. Then it went to 1,350. And you look at what's happened in the real world, and they kill 1,550 pound fat cattle every day now. So am I saying that's the ideal thing? Not necessarily, but do we live in a world now that's a lot more tolerant to big cattle than we did 10 years ago? I definitely think that we do. This is a steer who I think there's an awful lot to like about him, frankly, especially for how big he is. This is a steer who I would consider very, very ideal in terms of his condition. He's not globby fat, even though he is the biggest steer in the show. He's a calf that, although he's very, very big, he's still very, very sound in the way he travels. He's a steer that you like a lot from a standpoint of mass and just his practicality, his fleshing ability, etc. A calf that ties a lot of nice things up into a very complete package. Then we come to the most attractive calf in the class, the young lady in the pink shirt brings us. This is a steer that you really, really like the design of when you look at him off the side. He's very up-headed. He's very, very sound in terms of the way that he gets out and travels. He's a steer that you like from a muscle standpoint. He's a steer who also, I think, is in very ideal condition relative to his body type. A steer who just gets outpowered a little bit by the yellow behemoth that came to us before you. Then we come to another really nice black calf the young man brings us. Another really, really nicely conditioned calf, but without being excessively fat, in my opinion. This is another steer that you have to respect a lot from a structural integrity standpoint. He gets out and travels really nicely, especially for a really big steer. He's one that just gets out horsed a little bit in terms of muscle by the two that are immediately up above him. Then we come to the Hereford appearing steer. This is one who, again, I really like the amount of condition this steer has. If we could add some more muscle to this calf, level and square him up a little bit from his hooks to his pins and add a little bit more power to him, then we could go ahead and get you up another place or two. But a very nice, relatively straightforward class to wrap up our market show today. Thank you.
All right, for that class of market steers, first place was Brielle Yance, second was Grace Grunwald, third was Deegan Patton, and fourth was Elizabeth Doherty. So we have a feeder class of steers getting ready to come in here. Our feeder class will have Sunny Valley with a steer that weighs 1,020 pounds, and Mackenzie Burke with a steer that is 1,160 pounds. So that is our feeder class. After that, we'll have a short break and then have a little showmanship clinic right here and move on with our day.
two really nice calves we have here in our feeder division. Calves that are pretty different in terms of their type and kind. The young lady who her steer unfortunately didn't make weight, that's unfortunate. She did a really nice job and found a really, really high quality project. I like a lot of things about this calf. He's really, really attractive. He's one who, proportionate to his body size, I would consider pretty heavily muscled. And just a really nice striking type of calf to look at. And, you know, we talked a little bit about, you know, finding a little bit bigger one next year, but she did a really good job with what she had. She found an awfully nice, awfully attractive, complete project to bring out to us here today. Not to take anything away from the young lady in second, this is a steer who you really appreciate a lot for just his practicality and his functionality. A really, really nice deep-sided steer who's really, really long-bodied. One that you just like to, relative to his size, add a little bit more muscle to him, maybe make him a little bit more up-headed, but two very, very nice, very high-quality projects these young ladies bring us today. Thank you.
So first in our feeder class is Sunny Valley, second Mackenzie Burke. So congratulations to them. For all of you beef folks, the Allied Industry Beef Award applications will be ready in the 4-H office at by 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that will do it for our Market Steer Show today. We will have our lamb show at 1 o'clock right here. Here shortly, our judge, Ty Cleaver, is going to put together a little showmanship talk for all of you beef showmen. So gather around.